Let's start today with the latest on the two oil tankers attacked in the Gulf of Oman. A war of words now erupting between the U.S. and Iran. In an interview this morning on Fox, President Trump blamed Iran for those attacks, while Iran's foreign minister pointing the finger at the U.S. RT correspondent John Huddy has more on this story and the accusations fueling an already contentious situation.
Well, Manila, he directly blamed Iran for yesterday's attacks on those two tankers, saying in an interview on Fox and Friends, as you just mentioned, that, quote, Iran did do it, and you know they did it because you saw the boat. And the boat that the president's referring to is shown in video that was released by U.S. Central Command, purportedly showing, according to U.S. officials, an Iranian Revolutionary Guard vessel and its crew, again, according to U.S. officials, removing an unexploded limpet mine from the Courageous. That's one of the two ships officials say was attacked yesterday near the Strait of Hormuz in the Gulf of Oman. Now, the Courageous and another tanker, the MT Front Altair, were carrying petrochemicals, as we've reported, into the Gulf of Oman en route to Asia when several explosions rocked both vessels. Well, U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said Thursday that it was the U.S.'s assessment that Iran is responsible. Listen.
This assessment is based on intelligence, the weapons used, the level of expertise needed to execute the operation, recent similar Iranian attacks on shipping, and the fact that no proxy group operating in the area has the resources and proficiency to act with such a high degree of sophistication. No economic sanctions entitle the Islamic Republic to attack innocent civilians, disrupt global oil markets, and engage in nuclear blackmail.
And he's talking about the U.S.'s economic sanctions on Iran, of course, and Iranian or companies and subsidiaries doing business with Iran. That said, U.S. Central Command also released a still photo showing what is believed to be the damage left behind, two holes from the Iranian limpet mines on the side of the Courageous tanker. Again, one of the two tankers that officials say was attacked. But in a twist to all this, listen to this. The president of the Japanese company that owns the Coca-Cola tanker said the sailors on board the ship reported seeing a, quote, flying object hit the vessel before the explosion, suggesting that the tanker may have been fired upon rather than damaged by mines. Listen.
The crew is saying that it was hit by a flying object. They're saying that something came flying. To put a bomb on the side of the boat is something we are not thinking.
And he also added that an Iranian military vessel was seen in the area near the tanker shortly before it was attacked. So, look, while the fingers continue to really be pointed at Iran, Iran's foreign minister, meanwhile, Mohammad Javad Zarif blamed the United States, or at least pointed fingers back at the United States in the trading of accusations for these attacks, tweeting that, quote, the U.S. immediately jumped to make allegations against Iran without a shred of factual or circumstantial evidence, only makes it abundantly clear that the B team is moving to a plan B, sabotage diplomacy, including by Shinzo Abe, Japanese prime minister, and cover up its economic terrorism against Iran. And when he's talking about the B team, he's talking about Mohammed bin Salman of Saudi Arabia, Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel, and National Security Advisor John Bolton. Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, speaking of which, was in Iran this week, meeting with Iran's president and supreme leader, the Ayatollah Khamenei, in what was clearly an effort to try and quell the ongoing tension between the U.S. and Iran, though President Trump tweeted yesterday that, quote, while I very much appreciate Prime Minister Abe going to Iran to meet with Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, I personally feel that it is too soon to even think about making a deal. They are not ready, and neither are we. Well, clearly, that is the case. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, meanwhile, called for an investigation into yesterday's tankers attacks and also called for facts before further accusations are made.
Note with deep concern this morning's security incidents in the Strait of Hormuz. I strongly condemned any attack against civilian vessels. Facts must be established and responsibilities clarified. And if there is something the world cannot afford, is a major confrontation in the Gulf region.
Now, this situation is already having major diplomatic and economic ramifications. Of course, oil prices surged more than 4% yesterday. And just, again, to be clear, a third of all oil traded by sea passes through the Strait of Hormuz. It's described as the world's most sensitive oil transportation choke point. So while President Trump points the blame squarely at Iran, really the question now is what, if anything, the U.S. will do about it. Will the U.S. increase sanctions on Iran, add even more sanctions? Will the U.S. provide military escorts for shipping vessels through the Strait of Hormuz? The president saying during that long interview on Fox today, he didn't go into any details, saying only, quote, we'll have to wait and see. Manila, back to you.
A lot of unanswered questions still. John Huddy, thank you.
Hey YouTube, thanks for checking out our channel. We hope you enjoyed the video. We have tons of content for you just like this. For more of RT America's one-of-a-kind news and analysis, be sure to subscribe and never stop questioning more.